Hey, hello everyone. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. Welcome on in to WagWorksGA. Welcome to the channel. I'm Geoff, or Wags, whatever you'd prefer to call me. He does this guy a little bit down here. There we go. Cool. Yeah, so we'll go in. So this is WagWorksGA. I'm Geoff with a G. That's the G in WagWorksGA. The A is my wife, Ashley. We are a husband-wife, author-illustrator team, and we make kids comics. So that's we've got some graphic novel projects we're working on. We also do some shorter form comics, working some in the educational area, as well as just fun, dramatic stories. But if you're here, you're going to see mostly me. So I'll be doing art, working on some shorter form comic pieces. Sometimes I'll do graphic novel work. Other times just doing some fan art fun, slice of life comics, all that good stuff. So welcome on in. I'm happy to have you here with me. I hope you're having a good Thursday night. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. It's funny, I was all prepped for stream early, and then my brain just decided to act like I don't know what I'm doing. It's good times. Anyway, I'm ready to hop in on some art. Grab my art glove real quick, which is snagged over here. Yeah, let's just hop on in. Let's go ahead and do our warm-up. I've got my cards right here. So if you haven't been here before, I like to warm up with these guys. So these guys, Pokemon cards. I pick 5 or 6 out of what we've got on hand in the house. I shuffle them on up, and then I come on in and do a 5-minute warm up with whatever Pokemon is picked from there. So closing my eyes because one of these actually is different because it's a Japanese card. All right, we got Teddiursa. So I'm gonna switch us over to Clip Studio Paint. That is my art program of choice. Wait a minute. Oh. Huh. Just a moment. There we go. Something was amuck with my setup, but I'm good now. Okay, we're still on set up for a multi-page comic. That's all. All right, I am ready to warm up now. I'm gonna pull up a quick reference of our Pokemon that we'll be drawing while I explain what I like to do for warm-up. Which is, we're just gonna do a quick 5-minute warm-up drill here. Really just looking at a rough sketch. Nothing too finished, nothing too detailed, because the entire point of this is just to loosen up the arm, loosen up the wrist, and start thinking about our shapes, manipulating a character in 3D space, getting our posing and composition about where we like. It's nothing too detailed. I like to work in the more pretty traditional, pretty common comics workflow of a sketch, then we do pencils, which is really just kind of picking out your favorite lines from your really rough sketch. Then I go to inks or final lines, and then from there I lay down colors and shadows and highlights. We're not going to get to those later stages because it's a 5-minute warm-up, and I'm not that fast. But it's just for good fun. So you're welcome to draw along if you're watching, because art is fun. You don't have to show anyone. You don't have to draw Pokemon. Sometimes just the art of drawing and doodling can be pretty zen and help you unwind after a busy day, which is definitely what today has been, but in a good way. All right, got my timer up, I've got my reference up, so let's go ahead and start. And I will also, even though I just started the timer, I'm going to go ahead and label my layers just to keep things clear later, as I have been known on occasion to draw on the incorrect layer. Who knew? All right, so I'm gonna go to trusty design pencil. I like to start off on my sketch layer with a larger size just because it prevents me from getting too worried about detail. And especially in the sketch layer, I'm not really worried about that. This is not the Pokemon. This is a rock that the Pokemon will be resting, sleeping on. Another thing, if you haven't been here before, is I tend to I like to draw my Pokemon sleeping because it's one, it's cute, and two, it's like a little constraint that I can add to my piece that helps me get creatively started a little faster. Let's shrink that down a little bit. Usually I draw too small on the page. This time I started out a little too big. So I'm gonna have kind of like lounging up against the rock here. Maybe this arm comes like this. Yeah, so maybe the arm comes across that way. Yeah, sometimes it's one of actually the really cool things that I've learned from some of the creators I've got to watch, webinars by over the years. Is adding a little bit of a constraint to what you're doing is actually a good way to spark creativity. Because sometimes when you're left with all the possibilities, it's easy to kind of get frozen and not make a choice. Okay, I think I like that. Also, just for clarity, I like to do my sketch layers and pencil layers in a non-black color. One, because that makes it clear to me and others, like this is not the final art layer. This is just a working layer. And then when I go to draw lines over, there's not really any confusion. You can mess with opacity a little bit to do that, but I find having your pencil's just in a completely different color than the line that you're drawing is also pretty helpful. Oftentimes I'll choose blue. I'm doing purple tonight, switching it up a little bit. I do like my blues and my purples. The blue was actually a bit of a holdover from my days of drawing on paper and scanning that in, which was haven't done that for quite a while. But if you scan in your art with blue sketch lines and black, ink or pencil over top, and then you convert it to black and white, that tends to wash out a lot of the blue. So that was a habit I got into. And I've kind of carried it forward. All right, I'm pretty good with this sketch for now. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to pencils. I don't think I've got a crazy amount of time left. And that's okay, but pretty good with the sketch layer. So then I will go ahead for pencils and knock down my brush size quite a bit. And start going in. Got a pretty good cut on lines here on the first go with the sketch, which is nice. Ah, there it is. There's timer. Cool. Yeah. I am happy with this so far. So the other part of this is that I like having a library of sketches, concepts that I've started, that if I wanted to go back and turn them into finished pieces, they're pretty much ready to go. And sometimes when I'm in between pieces on stream or kind of in the middle of another project creatively, and not thinking a whole lot about what I'm doing for stream, I'll fall back to one of these. It's pretty handy. Which, nice transition, Geoff, is actually where we're going with tonight's art. I will be continuing from last week, which was in fact a continuation of the warm-up from the week before of working on this Hisuian Zorua piece that I started. Last week we got inks and colors done. Last week was a pretty short stream. Anyway, yeah, sorry, I got distracted thinking. It does happen on occasion. I will say my lines on this one are a little thinner. I was trying a different brush and a little different feel for the inks here. I do like it so far. We shall see how much further I continue into it. So this is flat colors. I did a little bit of texturing on the fur, but for the foreground, I got the main character kind of roughed in here, or not roughed in, inked in and colored. And then I am going to have a background, which I did sketch, kind of a mountainous type terrain, referencing from photos in the game. This is, of course, from Pokemon Legends Arceus. Yeah. So I kind of roughed in a background environment, and then I'll also be throwing in some of that kind of nice lightly snow-dusted foliage in the front, maybe with a little bit of a blur effect going on, just to kind of give it a more full feel. But I'm doing these all on separate layers so that I can have the freedom to just kind of do one bit at a time. I do see that I did not fill my whites in all the way. So let me do that real quick before I go any further on anything. Turn off flat colors. And I'm just gonna select in here. Make sure I've got a layer underneath my flat colors, and I've got white selected, so I'm just going to fill in with a nice white here. So what that should do is block out my background in the areas that were not filled by the flat colors, and then I'll just merge the other colors down on top of the white. And that fixes that pretty tidily. Okay. So I'm going to keep going on Zorua before I start messing with the background too much more, just because that's what I'm feeling right now. So we'll go ahead and lay down a shadow layer. Hello. There we go. And I think this is nothing too crazy. I just like to do my shadows on a multiply. I also like to do them with a where were we? There we are. That's the palette. A non-pure gray. So I use kind of a desaturated light purple, which I think gives a nice little feeling. Again, I think that's a pretty common practice out there. Oh, I did want to touch up. Nope. You know what you should do, so I don't have to go back and do all that again. I'll lay down that so I can just pick up the color dot, because I am gonna fix my smudge tool. Got a little bit overzealous here. Just clean that guy up a little bit, because it bugs me every time I see it. You know, it's the little things, truly. Okay, so there we go. Shadows. Yeah, I'm just gonna start blocking in kind of some of the bigger shadow areas here. And it'll start out looking very cell shaded. Do I have anti-aliasing on? I do not. Okay, good deal. Good deal. And then for like my Pokemon fan art pieces, which I've done quite a few of, as I am a fan, I will eventually soften things up and give it a slightly more smoothly rendered painterly feel. That is just what I prefer to do for these. Kind of wondering if I might want to try making it even like a bit coarser brush strokes feeling here. See where I'm going right now. Again, just laying down the big solid areas that are not really gonna change a whole lot. I like using the ink pen tool here to do it, to define the border, and then I can just use a fill can. If you do that, make sure you turn off your anti-aliasing as well first, so that it fills all the way up to your pen line border. Anti-aliasing, if you're not familiar, is just what happens when you like at the edge of like this stroke, the stroke here, you see it's very sharp and pixelated. That's because there's no anti-aliasing. If I turn on like weak anti-aliasing, you can see there's some transparency at the edge there. Hey Janice, how's it going? I like the greeting. Speaking of someone who needs no explanation of what anti-aliasing is, it's Janos. How you doing tonight? It goes well. How about it goes well. It goes well. I would say a lot quieter than the previous week, thankfully. That's nice. Oops, gonna alert basketball time. Ooh, who you watching? Round that out a little bit. There was a time when I was a huge basketball fan. But between life just getting very full and cutting cable, the cable on which most basketball is aired, and not having like a digital antenna or anything, I kind of fell out of the habit. But I do really enjoy basketball. Actually, it's kind of funny, when I was a kid, I played all the way up into like mid high school. But I was like one of those kids who got my growth spurt super duper early. So like 5th grade, I was the tallest, if not one of the tallest, if not the tallest kids in the class. But then I just stopped. So like I think I've grown maybe an inch and a half since I was in like 6th grade. So I went from being like center, then the next year I was like power forward, and then next year I was small forward, then I was shooting guard, then I was point guard, and then I was team statistician, and then I stopped playing basketball. It was good times. I enjoyed it while I was there. I enjoyed being basketball adjacent. that. Yeah. Oh, I just totally had major like Inuyasha flashbacks looking at this for a second. I'm like, oh, this really does look like Kilala. That's funny. I can't believe I didn't notice that before. There we go. Okay, starting to get there with the basic shading. I'm pretty happy with this so far. Too fast tapering that. Fix that right here. Offset the shadow just a wee bit. Give it that sense of a little bit of depth. What I should do is continue this one up a little bit more to round out this tuft. Yep. Come on. Okay. I always find this stuff to be pretty zen, coming in and doing the basic shading. Like it's not like thoughtless work, like, because you definitely have to be thinking about light and all that. And I'm not saying I always do that perfectly, but in general, there's just like a zone you get into with it, right? And you just kind of like, it's very zen. Inks are very much the same way for me. Although those, it's like, I like to do my pencils super, like pretty tight for pencils. So I'm thinking about like pen pressure, but I'm not really thinking a whole lot more about like, exactly where do I want this line to go? So that can get pretty zen as well. But it's nice. It's nice to have those things that you can kind of just get it lost in for a little bit, I think. Round out those little toes a little bit. Tidy that up. Okay, okay. Maybe not quite that. Yeah, there we go. Too much. These are coming out pretty clean, but it's funny because I'm not actually too worried about that since I'm going to be putting stuff, adding more layers over the top and blurring it. So ironically coming out quite clean. Even though it doesn't necessarily matter for what I'm trying to do. The song from sounds really familiar, but I don't think it's what I'm thinking of. From Poke and Sleep. It's a Pokemon song. Cool. I didn't recognize that one. It was definitely reminding me of something else. Hey Sona, how's it going? Good to see you again. Still working on the sleepy boy. Bring the shadow up a little bit here. Well, sounds good. I appreciate you stopping by and hope you have a good lurk. I appreciate you being here. What you guys playing tonight? Together pretty well here. Stardew Valley. I haven't actually played, but I know I've watched streams of it, and it seems so chill, just like happy fun. I hope you guys have a good time. Round out the edge of the snout a little bit. I think that's good. Okay. Okay, I can get rid of this reference color since now I have plenty of shading laid down. Okay. Zoom in a little bit, get that, tighten that up just a little bit. Good, good. Lighten up this brush size a little bit for the finer. Nobody mind me if I just start silently sobbing to Xanarkand starts playing. Oh, my poor chatbot. I have neglected to fix you, but I will type your message. It's just me plugging Core Toons anyway, so it's good times. Yeah, so Core Toons, as I mentioned short form comics at the beginning of the stream, that's one of those projects that we do where we teamed up with some fellow kids comics creators to create bite-sized comics for young ones with a sprinkle of educational content in each. Sign up at coretoons.substack.com to get our weekly email. Free, if you're interested in that kind of thing. It's a really fun group of creators. Anyway. I will fix the bot someday. Someday. Yeah, sometimes there's those things where you're like, oh, I'm totally gonna do that. And life just kind of says, no. No, there's other things that you're gonna be doing. And that's where we're at. But it's good. I can't truly complain. I'm not sure about that one. There we go. Say what you will about my perfectionistic tendencies, but at least I'm not doing this vector and like perfecting every single line. So I feel like, you know, there's hope for me yet. Okay, so far so good. Come back in and layer a little bit of like texture, shadow in here. Okay. Excuse me. Goodness. Not quite. What if I... Okay. Pretty good, pretty good. Oh man, Balam Garden. In case you couldn't tell, these PlayStation and early PS2 era Final Fantasy songs are quite nostalgic for me. I may have invested some time into those worlds. Okay, this is good as a first cut of shading. Usually I like to add more. What I do like is that this has a little bit of an animated movie style to it. The shading isn't too out there, too intense. I usually like to add in another layer of shadow to darken it, make it a little crisper. In this case, I might even add the layer of shadow underneath, but make it broader so that it would kind of, this would be the tighter shadow. But I don't know yet. I'm gonna get the rest of the background going to see what we want to do. So with that, I'm actually gonna say see you in a little bit to our sleepy guy, and start working on the actual background here. Make sure I got a good black there. And I was using a different pen for this. Which one of you was it? Ah, goodness, I think it was the textured G texture pen. Maybe I'll go straight to a lines here. I think I can get away with it. I think I can do that. I mean, I could try. Let's try it. I'm trying different things in this piece, so let's see how this goes. Using a not quite black. I can go lighter. Courage. Oh, you want to see so far? No, there's not really much to look at there. That's the actual shaded piece so far.
So you have a full background?
Yeah, that's what I'm starting on now, is the background. And actually, I'm also going to put a little foreground element in front here, like some snow dusted leaves in front, maybe even blur them a little bit.
What type is it?
Dark. No, it might be Ice Ghost. I'm not sure. The type is usually dark for the main one, but this is a variant for a different game. Hold on. Oh, well, I used actual reference from the game as to the environment in which you find this one. Snowy, icy mountains. So I did do some research on that one as well. You know. Clearly we're gonna have to get Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I'm gonna have to play through the entire thing so I can finish this piece. It's a requirement. I don't think she agrees. It's all good. Anyway, moving right along. That is an eraser. There we go. bump that one up since these are a little bit closer. That up a little bit. So yeah, they would have the central stem in there, but then also they'll be dusted by snow. So maybe do kind of a divot in the snow where just where the cap of the or where the stem line goes, because it's not a crazy amount. Do it like that. Nope, too much. Too much on the eraser. Oh, am I on the delete point tool? I am on the delete point tool. No wonder. There we go. That's all good. Okay. I'm not quite sure what that one was supposed to be. Got away from me a little bit. Alright, so let's see how that looks with our... Because I'm really looking for just like the effect of a little more subtle line behind it, not quite so so heavy black, which I think we're getting that pretty effectively, so that it does bring a pretty good spotlight on Zorua. Okay, well, so far so good. I think I should label this layer. Hey, hey, hey. And we keep going. Bump up my brush size a little. Also, I probably meant to continue that off the edge, but hey, it was a sketch. Okay. Mhm. Might also make a judgment call and add a little bit of like a low cloud boundary here. But it won't be like blue sky back here, it'll just be kind of white haze off in the distance, grayish whitish. You know. Something like that. Okay. So if I turn off sketch, these lines are okay. I can work with this. Before I start color grading, tell you what, it's about 11 o'clock. It's a good time for me to take a quick break, go to the bathroom, get some water. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put y'all on be right back, and I will indeed be right back. See you in about 2 or 3 minutes. Hey, we're back. Oh, Alexei, hey, good to see you again. Respectful greetings to you as well. How are you doing tonight? I am doing well over here, just working on what was our warm-up from oh, you saw this, the warm-up. And I just decided to continue on and to work towards finishing this piece. So this is your sleepy boy. I've got some inks down, I've got some flat colors, I've got some really basic shadings, and now I'm just working in a bit of a background, a few other elements. Yeah, I think it's going pretty well so far. Pretty well, at least. So I'm gonna hop. 6 a.m. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. And I'm flattered that I could work on one of your favorite Pokemon. Yeah. Yeah, I hope things have been going well for you. I know it sounded like you definitely are a very busy individual, so hope things are going great. And thank you. Because yeah, I think you just saw this when it was in the sketch stage, and yeah, we've come a bit of a ways since then. Fix the bot, Geoff. Fix the bot. One of these days, I will do it. But yeah, so I'm working on the background right now. So I'm gonna hop back into that. So I'm gonna have to hide our sweet boy or girl for a second and work on this. I've got the lines mostly in here, and I just need to lay down some colors. I didn't think a crazy amount about palette yet. You were studying for midterms until the crack of dawn surprised you. That is awesome dedication. That's super cool. Although I will say, don't make the mistake that I made of studying so much that then you end up sleeping through your alarm clock and missing said midterm. That's not fun. Maybe I'll use as my shadow color here. This is a palette that I use for a lot of our comics that I kind of mixed and picked out colors that work together. They're based from the same base colors and then mixed, so they all kind of agree with each other pretty well. I'll play around with this. I can tweak some too, maybe mix a few new ones. Oh, you think you know what's wrong with the bot? Well, hey, I would take any recommendations. That's awesome. So So I'm gonna set my background lines as my reference here. So I should get a pretty good fill. All right, that works. Nice. And what I should also look at is value. So with shading, these mountains will be a little bit darker. So on Twitch, you can't send 2 messages within 2 to 5 seconds. Maybe, but I didn't think there was anything, like that's just my bot, and it isn't really doing much else. It could be sending something during the cooldown. Oh! I see what you're saying, like it sends it and it triggers it so fast. I bet that's it. I swear it used to work though, which was interesting. Maybe I'll just have to tweak it, play around with it, but that's a good point. Thank you. I will have to check into that. I just really need to set aside like 15 to 30 minutes to like actually look at it. But as lately it's been where like I only come in and think about stream when it's time to stream. Okay, that's what's happening. So this is the texture G pen is what I'm using for my lines. I'm gonna come in, just use my standard G pen to color in here, and I'm just catching all the little bits of noise in the texture of the line art that the fill didn't particularly want to do anything with. Yeah, that's could be the cooldown. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, and I'm gonna test something here. Just adding in some shadow. Gonna be pretty coarse here. No, not all of it. Not all of it, Geoff. Come on. Okay, so really, oh, so you thought of that the day after the last time you were in? Okay. No, it's okay. Believe me, I definitely would forgive you if you say anything that doesn't make sense. If it's 6 a.m. and you've been up studying all night, yeah, it sure does. I don't miss that part of university. That's for sure. Okay. I was going somewhere with this. Okay, you're studying through most of the week and the weekends so you can sleep really early on the day before. That's good thinking. Be well rested and ready for the exam. Okay, so my plan here was I'm gonna add Zorua back in, and actually I want to add a correction layer. I know there's other ways to do this. This is a quick way of checking. So this is just keeping an eye on the values, and what that does is it value just means the brightness. It's also, you know, the luminosity of your colors. And what can be nice to do is actually make sure that each of your, if you think of a picture as like having depth, that you've got your foreground, your midground, your background, and each of them is, you know, a different kind of rough set of values. So you can play with the order. You can have light, dark, medium, vice versa, but it does give a real sense of depth to stuff. So there's not a crazy amount of difference in value right now, which I'd like to work on. If I'm doing like a cloudy sky, I can make it like a darker cloudy sky, which would be a little bit of a help. So something like that. And then when you come in, another thing that helps is that your eye will automatically go to areas of high contrast, especially in value. The black and white looks like it's like in Hisui, like pre-modern Pokemon era times. Oh, but with the dark sky, it does blend in with. Okay. It's hard to go lighter than the colors here, though. So, Okay. Let's keep going. I was gonna do a gradient layer, but instead maybe I'll just airbrush this because I don't have to do it super. No, that wasn't what I wanted. I want to use this color, and I want to multiply. Airbrush down a little bit. And select from the flat colors layer. Trying to ace everything so you can get into med school. Oh man, it's doable for sure. I mean, that's awesome though. That's very Very cool. Not sure. Might have been too much with a smaller airbrush. Let's try the bigger one. Oh yeah, that's a really good attitude, Alexei. Yeah, even if you get less than perfect, you tried your best. I mean, I always like to think of it as like you can't do better than your best, right? Are your friend is getting you more interested in computer science? I know that was always a big interest for me personally. Kind of led me into the career that I eventually, that I am in for my day job. Which is actually more. I mean, I'm a scientist by day, but I work more with the computer side of things, of working with the data, making models to statistically work with data. So either way, I mean, both are cool, I think. And in terms of like a future career, computers and doctors are always going to be things in our society that are needed. So people who can work with the computers and develop new technologies and oopsie daisy, get rid of this. That's small. Yeah, medicine is definitely not something AI can take over. Agreed. And computer science is getting more advanced and important. 100%. I would say, we may get to a point where we have really good AI tools to assist in medicine, but like we're at a real interesting point with AI, and there are fields that are starting to learn how to use it to their advantage as a tool, but I don't think it's ever going to completely replace anybody. Okay, let's see what this does in terms of our values. Okay. A little bit. And now I'm also going to first select this broad white area. And I mean, I could gradient this. I'm just going to use a giant airbrush, I think. That AI will never understand or relate to humans in medicine. No, I mean, at its core, AI is just, you feed it a bunch of things that look like what you want, and a bunch of inputs. Why am I messing with my microphone right now? That was not... Can you still hear me okay? Because I realized I was messing with the gain on my microphone and not even thinking about it. Like an assessment of pain, for example. Yeah, I mean, like, a person can touch on a tablet, like, you know, the smiley faces from 1 to 10 of like, what, you know, what level of pain are you feeling? I'm fine, or I'm excruciating pain. But yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know why. It's like, I've never messed with the gain knob on my microphone before, and I was like, oh, let's play with this. That's a good idea. Maybe I'm tired or something. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I think there's a very human element to things that an AI at best could impersonate, but not perfectly. Not perfectly. But yeah, AI is just showing a computer a bunch of things that you want as your output, and a bunch of things that, you know, are possible inputs that could create that, and it learns the relationships. And that's it. You know, it's not a magic. Ugh, I don't like that. It's not a magic solution, right? It can't solve all the problems forever. It just kind of learns relationships. Agreed. And I think that's the place that maybe we're starting to get to. Is that AI, especially when you start getting into the sciences, for example, AI can't replace a human weather forecaster. It can do a pretty good job, but there's so much pattern recognition and so much like local knowledge that comes into play. They can't fully do that, right? But you can make good AI tools for a human forecaster to use, and it can help them weed through the mountains of data out there. But it will, I don't think, ever replace the human. I mean, I do think that you'll see more job growth in the world in the area of like building AIs and maintaining them. I don't know, it's all pretty fascinating stuff. And even the best predictions, like, who knows where things will actually go. Detroit Become Human has a nice take on it, but the creator wasn't a great writer. I haven't looked at that one, so I cannot offer an opinion on it. But I will trust yours. Okay, we're starting to get closer to what I was thinking of. What I do think I need to do, I definitely need it, whether it's adding a thinner area of like darker shadow or expanding the shadow. I need to get a little more contrast on Zorua to really pull the eye to it. But this is starting to get there. Like, I feel like the value separation is getting pretty good with the background. And I'm glad that I didn't use pure black lines on it, because I feel like that would have really... it would have taken some of the visual out of it. Okay, maybe I should leave before I ramble like crazy. I mean, you're welcome. You're welcome to come on in and ramble if you like. It's fine. We're just having a chill time here anyway. But if you need sleep, please take care of yourself and get sleep. Also, very important. Okay. Oh, what video games do I play? Well, the answer is not. I don't get to play as much as I'd like. I follow a lot on Twitch, and I play bits and pieces here when I get the chance. I used to play more. I used to have to commute to my day job an hour each way. So like at one point I had like a PSP. At one point I still have the 3DS, DS, Game Boy Advance. So I played a lot of games on the bus for a while. But yeah, Pokemon is a big one. Kingdom Hearts is a big series for me. Mario franchise, I think that's most people. A lot of Nintendo franchises I'm big in. Like the Final Fantasy series was pretty huge for me. Animal Crossing, again, that's like it's another Nintendo one. I've played a little bit with recently with Celeste. Like I got that as part of a Humble Bundle package, and I really like that. I did have a little while where I played I love the Street Fighter series. I'm not any good at fighting games. But what I actually play these days, wow, thank you. That is really kind. Thank you. Yeah, what I actually play these days, mostly a little bit of Pokemon. I'll play Mario Kart with the kids. Play a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom, a little bit of Celeste, a little bit of Minecraft with the kids, although they're super into it. And I like it. I just don't have the time for the infinite depth, infinitely deep ocean that is Minecraft. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, for the most part. But like most weeks, I don't get a chance to really game. It's just every now and then that I get to do it. These days. And I should probably do a ground shadow for Zorua here while I'm at it. How do I want to do this? Rise of the Ronin. I'm not familiar with that one. What type of game is that? Right. There we go. That does also kind of anchor it in place a little bit better, which I like. It's actually a really nice game that has its flaws, but nothing is perfect. Like, what style is this? Is it like a third person? I mean, is it like a Souls-like or something like that? Based off of historical event in Japan. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. Every game has its flaws, and in even a fairly flawed game, I will not judge a person for liking it because I think every game has elements that will speak to somebody very deeply. Oh, so like that's the Meiji era, isn't it? I used to be a really big Rurouni Kenshin fan. So maybe it was a period of history that I also had a lot of interest in. Maybe I'll add background plant shadow. You choose whether to support the shogunate or the anti-shogunate. Interesting. Okay. This is not bad so far. I am so far liking how this is coming out. It will look a little bit wonky here when I hide the Zorua layer, and that's okay. Weapons are pretty diverse. You can play with katana, dual swords, adachi, or even straight up. Interesting. I mean, that feels pretty historically reflective of that period of time, from my limited knowledge. I should probably use a thinner line here. Like you can befriend historical figures. Oh, that's cool. I like that they put that in there. I do think it's like, it is cool when you can actually play a game and actually learn something about history in a way by living it. I think that's pretty neat. And it's the chance to like literally put yourself in someone else's shoes, which I think there's a sense of empathy there that like a history book can't give you. Thank you, Alexei. See, that works. So I guess, but that's because the bot, yeah, so the bot issues the command and then the bot tries to reply to the command itself, but it can't do that because it's all within like a couple of seconds. I bet that's it. That makes a whole lot of sense. I guess it could. I just thought that the way that you did this was like, I just had noticed from other streams, I thought that the bots would be able to like say the command and then say the thing, and it was an easier way to trigger it than just like typing the whole thing as a timed command. But maybe that's not the way. It should be able to. I just haven't tried it. Again, there are some weeks where I definitely don't give a lot of thought to stream until I'm sitting in the chair getting everything set up. And it's like, oh, I didn't do the bot again. Next time, perhaps. Not quite. Ryoma Sakamoto, who... Okay. I feel like the name is familiar, but I could just be filling in a lot of gaps in my head. So, who was so much more handsome in the game than the real guy? I mean, I feel like games are allowed to, you know, take a little creative license to help people relate to figures or see them in a certain way. Okay, I'm just playing find what layer these plant leaves are on. Because apparently I put it somewhere funny. Like they really cooked up the finest men to keep people interested. Like toddlers to a car key. I haven't heard that phrase before, but it makes so much sense. It's very true. Alright. Find the layer. There's a tool for this, right? No. Select layer. Shadows? It is in the shadows. Oh, okay. Okay. So cut and paste. Merge with layer below. And okay. Yay! That did it. Yeah, as an artist, I accept that, you know, people are gonna sometimes take a wee bit of creative liberty with things. It is funny to imagine that, like, if this was someone's only, like, experience with, like, learning about that era of history, then they're gonna see, like, historical photos someday and be like, wait, what? I've been lied to. But I guess that's also the risk you take if you're, you know, learning all your history solely from a game, instead of playing a game for the experience and then deciding you want to learn more about that era and actually studying it, or vice versa. What? Why is his hair like that? Where is his beard and ponytail? Also, admittedly, sometimes game concept artists and 3D modelers just want to design cute or attractive characters. I recommend looking up The Rise of Ronin Ryoma Sakamoto so you can go. Okay, I'll have to do that one in a bit. It's good times. Good times. I see what you're talking about. This is a very ruggedly handsome individual. 100%. That's fun. But the actual game is fun to play as well. Is what you were saying. Yes? His personality is so sweet too. I think that's one thing that's really interesting to think about the time that we live in is I don't think people that lived in our era have as easy of a time having that kind of very idealized perception of their personality. Does it happen with people? Yes, but at the same time, you've also got, for people who wonder like what was this person actually like, it's much harder in today's world to not have, if you're a notable historical figure or person, I think it's much harder for people to not have evidence of their true personality out there, for better or for worse. But I think it's harder to get this kind of highly idealized persona out there. Like the second you see him in a side quest, you rush to do it. I love having those like favorite NPCs in games. It adds that really fun element to it, I think. You can romance the historical figures too. Well, no, there's no question as to why they made him so handsome. That's the point. Oop, wrong thing. There you go. Okay, not a final background by any stretch of the imagination, but a background nonetheless. And not too bad, like who's romancing Matthew Perry. That is a historical figure that if I read the name in the books, I had forgotten, and I just think of, wasn't that also the actor who passed away recently? So I just think of that guy. But I'm sure the historical figure is actually much different. Okay, add that in. Okay, honestly, this isn't too bad, especially when you drop Zorua in. I think I could do more with this. I was still considering doing a foreground layer here with a couple leaves, bushes, and they'd be very dark and kind of blurred, so you give you a feeling that you're kind of peeking through to the Zorua nestled in the foliage. But I'm quite happy with how this is coming out so far. And I also think I could do more shadow to get some contrast in here on Zorua itself. Maybe I'll play with that first before I mess with any foreground layers. So let me do a shadows too. We'll do it multiplied, just the same. Lost my layer name there for a second. He's a naval officer. Okay. I mean, I figured it's some sort of a very, very Western name. It's part of the American-Mexican War and part of that period. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Nope. That is not the layer that I wanted to draw on. There we go. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna clear this layer because my selection didn't include everything that I wanted. Okay. Start here. No, that's not quite doing it. Okay. I will go back to doing this the other way. The best part of the game is you go around finding cats to pet them. I mean, yeah, I feel like I love the fact that we're in an era where it's almost a requirement for developers to add some manner of like finding cute animals and petting them to their game. It's like a requirement. Forgot to set my reference layer. Hello? There we go. Ah, yes. There we go. You can get a cat concierge business in return, and you have an expedition Shiba Inu. I love it. Shibas are the best. If you pet other people's Shiba Inu, then you get rewards. Mm-hmm. I still remember it being a very funny revelation for me when I realized that Inu just means dog. So it's just Shiba dog. So don't say Shiba Inu dog, because then you'd just be saying Shiba dog dog. I don't know. It was probably not that big of a revelation, but at the same time, I was like, oh. Like chai tea, stuff like that. Alright, so what I like to do a lot of times is smooth these guys out. So you get this kind of... There we go. Yeah. I do like that. Okay, that's good. And I'm liking the extra contrast that it adds. It makes things pop just a little bit. Sahara Desert. Oh, that one I didn't know. That's hilarious. Excuse me. Trying to think what other great like redundant phrases are there that just come from like not realizing that one word is the same as the other word in the description, but just in a different language. An entire place is just called desert in English. And you know what? That feels like one of the most English things ever. It wasn't until I started studying other languages that I realized like how janky English can be sometimes, and not just my English when I'm streaming here at almost midnight and flubbing everything that I say, but it's a fascinating language with so many exceptions, and kind of weird, man, when you have a different context. I think we might need a little more of the light colored shadow on the away side of the face. English is really funny to you, honestly? Yeah. I 100%, I mean, to me as well. I am on board with this opinion. Arabic is so hard, so English feels so fun and goofy. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever tried anything on the level of Arabic to learn. Like, I've learned some bits and pieces of like Mandarin and Japanese, and you know, granted the new alphabet is probably one of the biggest obstacles there, but the construction is also different in terms of how you put your sentences together from the little bit that I know. But it's not, yeah, it doesn't feel like there's so many exceptions as in English. Your English teachers either loved you for being good at it or hated you because they thought you were a know-it-all. Just love participation points. Yeah. That can happen. What is happening there? But yeah, I think a lot of native English speakers, especially ones who don't really study any other language, is kind of like, yeah, it's the most natural language in the world. I'm like, I don't think it is. I think we got lots of rules and lots of exceptions, and it can actually be trickier than we realize. And I don't know that we all, even our like native speakers, I don't know that we all speak it as well as we sometimes believe we do. Oh, you hated grammar lessons because they'd ask you to answer so they could show the class how good of an example you are, but then you go blank. Yeah, it's not like being put on the spot. It's hard. I agree. Especially when like your setup is like, this person knows the answers totally. Then it's like it's all the pressure. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I'm sure you're aware, but like you're, here in chat, your English is very good. Oh, you watch both English and Arabic dubs of cartoons as a kid. You only know it by how good it sounds. Well, that's cool. That's a good way. Like, I hear a lot of people do that for language learning. I wish I had the time now to invest in it now that it's much more available. But yeah, that's a great way to do it. Absolutely. Yeah, the face is just a little bit flat. So what I'm gonna do, I can just use shadows too for that. No, I probably can't actually. Okay. So I'm gonna save shadows 1 the way it is. Just make a duplicate of it and just have it there in case I end up thinking I like things better. Maybe not across the eyelid that way. Do something like that. Yeah, I feel like that's a lot better. So I cast a little bit of a shadow there. bit here. If a teacher asks you what an adjective is, then you just stare at them until they leave you alone. Oh, you're welcome. I mean, it's true. Your English is very good. But I'm happy to acknowledge it. Okay, that's a little better. It just needed like a little bit. And I think this ear here could use a little bit, and probably extend. Actually, maybe this should go more like this, and then this could go a little more. Yep. Also, I'm sure that chatting in English like chat rooms on Twitch is a great way to practice. Whether intentional or not. Yeah. Probably make this shadow a little bigger as well. Let's do that. There we go. It's pretty good. Okay. And this should do a lot for helping with the contrast too. Just bringing the eye straight to Zorua, which I think is, that's the goal. I'll bring this a little more directly there. Yeah. Oh, he's just giving you grammar lessons, so he doesn't think you know. Is it because you don't know the grammar rules themselves? It's so interesting 'cause when you are learning a language and you're learning the construction and the parts of the sentences and all that and the grammar, it's very specific knowledge. But then when you're actually speaking a language, you're not necessarily using that stuff the same way, I feel like it's always so interesting. Like most English speakers aren't doing a whole lot on like or you're not thinking about the parts of grammar, the grammar rules, all that. It's all based on what you hear. Thanks, Alexi. I appreciate it. You don't have to keep doing that. That's okay. But I'll just one of these days get it fixed. Okay, so we are sitting here at just a little after midnight here in Eastern Time Zone, US. So I'm actually going to be wrapping up here, I think. I'm really happy with how this is coming together. The background, I think, is looking good. The shading, this is really starting to pop. So I'm really happy with this. You start feeling bad for the bot. I guess, yes, I see it like try the command and not work. I'm like, oh, bot, I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, absolutely, go for it. Is that good? Good position for it? You can absolutely take a screenshot. No problem. No problem. Did you get it? So I'm getting ready to switch off the art screen, but I want to make sure you had the chance to get it before I do that. Okay, great. Thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I am still learning and growing, but I am happy with how this one is coming together. So I'm gonna hop over to just chatting for the last minute or so here. I don't really have anything particularly big to share. Just probably coming back and finishing this one next week, I think. It's getting there. It's getting there. I'm even pretty happy with it now, and I'm a little tempted to just be like, oh, this is it. But I think there's more I can do to make it really pop. So next week, so next Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern time in the States, I'll be back, probably working on this, unless I've got any pressing comic stuff. Yeah, this is the time that I'm on. I stream for about 2 hours. Nothing too long, but it's when I can fit it in my life, and I do really enjoy doing it. And I do make sure to post. I do save the videos on demand, the VODs, so those are available to rewatch. And in the link to the YouTube, I have older streams. I'm slowly working on catching back up. I haven't been as good about about catching up, but I will get there one day. Oh, and thank you. Yes, I do like to have some of my video game friends here on the shelf, and I think this is my favorite one that you don't really see. I've got the Rossetti, Mr. Rossetti amiibo as well, just to call a little attention to him. He doesn't get a lot of love, but it's all good. Yeah, so I think that wraps it up for me. Alexei, thanks for coming by. Janos, Soda, it was good seeing you guys too. I hope you had a good lurk, and I hope you have a good night. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. So that's it for tonight. Again, thank you, Alexei. Thank you, everybody, for watching, whether you're watching live or watching the recording. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out, and I hope you had as much fun as I did, and I hope you have a great week and a great night. Yes, respectfulest of respectful goodbyes to you as well, Alexei. Yeah, once again, thank you guys so much. Happy to be here, happy you're here, and good night. Thanks.